Audio check. 1 2 1 2. Mic test. All right, looks good. We see audio. Stream will be starting shortly, so make sure you tune in and join us. Greetings, adventurers. Well, tonight we are doing another Worldbuilding Wednesday, so buckle up because we are going to get started. Let me see if I can find my world map here. Maybe. If it will show. And it looks like it doesn't want to show, so you gotta love when we start out with mine a little. Oh, there it goes. Just a little delay before it pulled up. Got it. Okay. Well. It is time once again to do some world building, folks, where we are working on not one but two totally different world builds. One for a D&D 5e campaign that is going to become my homebrew campaign. We've been playing in Faerun and the Forgotten Realms for a year and a half to 2 years now, and it's time to move into our own environment. So you'll get to see that world as it's being crafted. And then also we're doing some world building for a sci-fi / sci-fantasy campaign for Traveler and Starfinder. So tonight I'm going to do a little map tweaking. We're going to continue our 30 days of world building with Miss Trevena's book. Following along with that, we're on what would be day 6 in her 30 days, but we're doing this kind of weekly and a couple times a week to kind of move it along. But we're going to work on that some more tonight. Tonight we are doing kingdoms and capitals. I've also got to do some natural resource placement and some map tweaks. So let's go ahead and get started with some map tweaks tonight so we can get those out of the way. So I wrapped this up from my fantasy campaign, and I really don't like how this clustered up around this mountain or this lake. I feel like it needs to be along the top and to one side instead of surrounding the lake entirely. So we're going to chop this up a bit and make it a little different just to break it up. Now let's get some mixed forest in around here. And that's not the right one. It was close. It was close, but not quite. It's this one, the evergreen. No, that's not right either. What did I do? Oh, we're getting warmer. Or are we? Let's see. Should be a single peak. Let's do a real quick search. There we go. So let's kind of chop this up a bit. Let's leave that one because there's a city there. Let's do some different development here. Okay. Really don't want that bordered right there. No, I want that one definitely surrounded. So let's do some shifting around here. Under terrain. Let's go find it. Is it under features? I feel like we've... There we go. This is just not playing the way I want it to tonight. Oh, me and Hexographer are going to fight. I can see it now. Let's see. I want a little bit more. Let me get down in here. Let's do a select and see. I wish it would tell me which terrain piece this is so that I could... There we go. And And then let's kind of mountain this around it a little bit. Nope, not like that. Let's grab that selector. And then let's fan it out a little bit more. There, I feel like that's a good fleshing out for my mountain sides. Just to kind of clean it up. Copy, paste. There we go. And then select again. Come down around here. And then do another select to do another copy, just because we want our transitions to be copy, paste. There we go. So there, I feel like that's a little bit of a better transition for my northern mountain ranges. And then over here, I may just copy. There we go. Let's go with that and leave that be over here. Give us a little bit more of a variety. Alright, so I'm done kind of messing around with that for the evening. I think that's kind of where we want it to go. So let's talk about kingdoms and cities and whatnot. I want to start with the devastated continent. And so, because that's going to feature as a hidden thing, there's going to be over here. We're going to have inhabiting the sunken, one of the sunken capital. We're going to have this become the seat of merfolk and Sahagin power. So woe to any ship that travels through these seas. Surface dwellers are not tolerated lightly. So I think that's going to be fun. What are we going to name that? Now there's your fun question to ask and answer. So probably starting from the bottom. whatever its previous name is, the name it's going to be given to by the undersea folk. This is going to be undersea civilization. Nearby water sources, it's underwater. Nearby resources, kelp fields. And what are we going to name it? Let's see. Anything out there that we can plunder to use for this? Let's see. Let's see. Let's go with Timarel. This is going to be Merfolk and Sahagin Society. There we go. Civilization. My spelling doesn't get horrid. Alright, so let's take a look at our map. We got that. So our devastated society over here. This is going to be our Yonti, the serpent people. So, let's, this is going to be the southeastern continent. We need to designate a capital. And I want it to be this one up here in the mountains. So, what are we going to name it? Let's I want something with kind of a sibilant S in its name. Something that will when pronounced. So, what do we want to name this? Something with some long drawn out S's. Like a Sicilia. It sounds like Sicily. David Eddings had the Niacins in his Belgariad series with the capital of Thistor. I want to beg, borrow, or steal from the good stuff, but you don't want to do that either. I'm looking at a random name generator for Snake City names. I know it's cheating, but it's inspirational, right? So, if You get out there and get on fantasynamegenerators.com. You can create names for just about anything. Let's see. With the Yuan-ti and their naming conventions. Let's see. We can use something with the hiss sound in the name, or something maybe sharp and guttural. That's a tough call. Let's see. Let's give this a name here. Let's pop this up, and this is going to be our southeastern continent. And let's put this to where I can share it via Streamlabs with y'all. And let's throw that into visibility. And then transition into our live content. So we're working on this continent here. Nearby water sources, nearby resources, other location benefits. I mean, you're going to have a central lake that we'll have to name. Right? But that's not near the main city. The main city is here. So, all kinds of fun stuff. Let's just kind of move the map over a little bit so that we can get this all kind of visible to the stream. And then in terms of naming this monstrosity, let me move my Chrome window over. Okay. And we got to name it. You know, Sadi had a pet snake named Zith. I want to use something with a Z in it, maybe. And maybe some extended S's. Okay. I like Nessa. No. Sessa. Let's we've got come up with some better name generators here. And I don't want anything that's closely tied to Eddings' creation, because I mean, then it's just you copied it. Well, you know, he did some good work, so get over it. Zith. Okay. Let's go. Let's go with Atzosa. We'll call that the capital. That's going to be, and this is going to be the capital here. We'll have to come up with a kingdom name. We'll probably call that both, since it's just going to be one undersea city. But here, this is going to be Social Empire. ETC. That's Empire. And this is the capital is going to be and then let's see the capital. Kind of put this together here. That's SLT Empire. And we're going to call the capital I like using the Empire name as part of it, but that's just me. At Zoselnai. Well, where's my cursor? It's not typing. Gotta love Google Docs. Nearby water sources, surrounded by ocean, and then a large inner sea. You know, desert resources. Obviously, water is going to be a very rich item, so water is going to be highly coveted. But copper, what other natural resources are you going to run into in the desert? We're not going to play with uranium, so I'd say let's go silver, gold, pumice. I think those are all good. Because we have volcanic activity, we're going to have pumice. I think those are all good things to tie in there. Other location benefits. Isolated. These people do not want to be messed with. Alright, I think that's a good fleshing out for the Adzoselti Empire or Kingdom, whichever we're going to go with calling it. Let's move around on the map some more. Let's see, my northeastern continent, if I refer back to my world building, let's see. Whoops, World Building Wednesdays. That would have been, what, session 4? Landscape. Scattered human and tabaxi. So let's this is going to be there's going to be 2 capitals here, so this will be the northeastern continent. We're going to have to give we're going to have to give human capital and a tabaxi capital. Since we're going to have both civilizations here. Some inland. And we've got to do something with the southeastern continent with that very grown region, but that's going to be a 6th development. Nearby resources, it's going to be silver, gold. We got some mountains. We're going to have some platinum. Maybe some electrum, and then some gems in the hills. Location benefits, varied but temperate. climate. And this is going to be a very peaceful region. So, let's see. What would the Tabaxi call their cities? That's a good question. Let's see. See, with Tabaxi, you're not really going to have a kingdom. You're going to have clans. Who's going to be our lead clan? So I say, whoops, didn't mean to close that tab. Cursor. Why is my cursor not playing nice? There we go. I call them maybe the let's see, cat related for Tabaxi. Let's see. The Graceful Sun clan. We got to come up with something. Okay, me and this mouse are about to fight because it is not typing where I'm trying to type. Let's do it this way. And then human capital. Let's go with Runeth. That sounds like runneth. Rune rest. There we go. Something useful. Okay. Might actually do some crazy tonight. Okay. And then we want to clone this box because we need 2 of them. Because we're going to do our human empire. And then down here, okay, so this is going to be on T, and then we're going to do okay, so we've got to come up with a Dragonborn city name. Since the Dragonborn don't routinely do cities, we'll have to come up with something creative. And we want something that implies that's hidden. So we want we're going to do like a Weimar spoke, or a spoke Weimar, or a Timon Timon Var Thar. Okay, let me think about this. Timon Vale. It's going to be their capital. Let's go Tynan Vale, and that's going to be their capital. What are we going to call the Dragonborn Kingdom? Dragonborn Kingdom names. You know, I'll have to remember all this crap later. That's what's going to make it crazy. So, if you're doing like a Dragonborn Kingdom, what do you want to go with? You gotta get creative. Let's see. Let's go with something that means hidden in the Draconic language. So, Viam. And again, my cursor's wanting to be stupid. Chrome. I like airy, kind of like an eagle's nest. So we're going with airy Viam. I'll have to look up how that's spelled. Good God, don't Google weird names live on the internet. Airy Viam. Okay. There we go. That takes care of our southern continent. We need a page break right about here. There we go. That's going to cover our two isolated. This one is undersea. There's going to be an undersea spring that supplies them fresh water in a saltwater environment. There we go. All right, so let's go take a look at I just saw where somebody commented they loved the flag. Thank you. I've got a rebel flag hanging opposite of it. My nerd cave. Yep, and I'm a Lego fan, so there's a whole bunch of junk back there. So let's see. You want to see, there's the rebel flag and R2 and 3PO. Hanging out in the back. Okay, so I'm going to come and do the Imperial continent last. And what are we going to call the former Imperial colonies? So this is going to be Northwestern continent. This is going to be nearby water sources, large inland sea, we're going to have mountains here with silver, gold, platinum, electrum, gems. We're going to have a lot of timber in all of these locations. Somebody's blowing up my phone. You get messages all kinds of ways while you're doing this. Okay. Other location benefits. Accessible coastline. And natural harbors. It's going to be a big thing for that that section of the planet. Okay, we're going to have, we've got human and dwarf here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Timber is definitely going to factor there. Timber is going to be limited here to the one section, so we're going to put an asterisk on there. Okay. We're going to have to name this okay. What is going on? Jeez Louise. And I can't type tonight, which doesn't matter because my cursor is not playing nice anyhow. Let's see. I really don't like anything I've come up with so far. So these folks are going to be a mix. So you're going to have seafaring, you're going to have woods people, you're going to have mountain people. I mean, I've got to think about the backbone of the backbone of the people in naming them. I don't know. I got to think of it. I mean, it's predominantly a wooded island, or well, continent. Going to be the like the Verdant dynasty or something like that, and that would be the human. And we got to give it a capital. I think our capital is going to be over here on our southwestern coast. Let's see. Come up with some names that'll be working for city names. And then we're also going to have a dwarven kingdom here. Let's go elves. And then their capital. And then dwarves. And their capital. Well, that'll be their clan. How did I word that? With be lead clan, lead dwarven clan. We're actually going to do 2 dwarven colonies here. That's what these 2 towers represent. So we want that to be relevant. I mean, you've got Waterdeep and Neverwinter on the Sword Coast and Faerun. We got to come up with something. Okay, so I want something that, since this is going to be a coastal town or city with a castle and a keep and fortifications. I want it, let's see, we're gonna go with like Ordtel. And maybe I'll revise that, I don't know. Yeah, let's see if my cursor's gonna. And then for the elves. Let's see. And then for the dwarves, it's going to be the Iron Mountain clan. Led by the. So let's just go with that. And we'll name the other dwarven clan at a later time. And for my elven, we're going to do predominantly one elven. That's going to be a wood elf kingdom in the middle of the deep forest. What are we going to call them? What is going to be their city? Okay, got to come up with a name. Ooh, my TV out there is getting loud. Where did that just come from? Interesting. Okay. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I've got to come up with an elven kingdom or city name. On the spot. Nothing like a little pressure. Yeah, I don't like some of these generators. And of course, putting yourself on the spot trying to name stuff to let's see. I want something with maybe a mirror or an ill or a glade. We'll have to come up with something. We'll do like an aspen mirror, since they're going to be in the woods. I like. Okay. Let's go with Mist Grove. That'll be the elven capital. Wood elf capital. There we go. Took me long enough to generate something. And to think I've got to deal with this large imperial continent next, that's going to be a nightmare. Okay. So we've got our elven capital here. We've got our dwarven capital here. Our human capital here. That'll work. I probably need to do something about these two volcanic islands out in the middle of nowhere. We've got our Tabaxi kingdom going to be here. And our human capital, I think, being far reached from the empire, is going to be here. I think that'll keep them out of harm's way. All right, so let's go take a look at this monstrosity. And our imperial capital is going to be here. This is going to be a predominantly human empire. Although I am going to do at least, since I've got two cities up here, I'm going to do a set of dwarven. And then I really probably need to do an elven in here somewhere. Okay. I'm going to go with Mesalia for the city name for the capital. We've got to come up with a name for the kingdom itself. Large central continent. Surrounded by water. And then we're going to have the Great Star Lake to the north. Okay. Silver, gold, platinum, electrum, gems, timber, furs. Although furs in the Tabaxi capital might stir some folks up. As long as it's not Tabaxi furs, right? Yeah, how do you skin a cat? Very carefully, because they've got claws. And now I'm just being dorky. Okay. Fantasy Empire names. Fantasy Empire names. We're going to modify this to be Melzalia with an L. If I can get my cursor in Chrome to play nice. Let's go with an R, Merzalia. And we're going to call the kingdom Meresh. This will be the human kingdom. Okay. This is going to be the Ice Mountain clan. Or the Frost Mountain clan. For our lead dwarven clan. And we're going to do a smaller elven population here. I'm going to think about this. This is going to be another wood elf capital, which I haven't even put on the map yet. A wood elf capital. I mean, wood elf cities aren't going to be very large because they're wood elves. They don't want to live in cities. They want to live in the woods. This will be Silvervine. Okay, so we've got our kingdom names. A large amount of natural resources. Okay, so I think we have our, what really comes down to 5 kingdoms. That's plenty for fantasy world building. Let's stop there with that one. And then, you know, for our sci-fi world, it's not going to be like this at all. It's going to be predominantly a human planet with some Aslan and some Vargir. So I'm actually going to duplicate this. Okay. And then let's kingdoms and capitals for sci-fi. Ugh. Okay, let's clear this out. So instead of doing capitals per se here, I'm going to trash the second page. So let's go take a look at our, whoops, I don't want to do anything stupid here. I want to pan and move. I don't want to edit. So we've got to come up with a capital location. I think in this case, does the capital need to be on the down port? Or does the capital need to be elsewhere? I personally feel the capital needs to be elsewhere. I think you put it on the down port and it's at risk of invasion. So I think the capital here is going to be here. But then we've got to kind of outline where the predominant locations are going to be for the Vargir and the Aslan representation. I think that's the best way to go about that. So let's pop back over here, and this is going to be location. We haven't even named this world yet. This is going to be artificial island. Underground springs. Kelp fields. This is going to be our down port. Deep port. Central, whoops, where'd the mouse go? This will be our central transportation hub, on and off world. For on off-world travel. Okay. And then our actual capital is going to be here. Let's see. Do I have the ability to put a star here? But see, I want that to be... Is there a way to put it behind? No, I don't like that. Is there a way to add opacity? Let's take a look at this. Hide terrain icon? Nope. So we got to come up with a way to if I just drop that on my city, it's gonna bury the city in the detail. What if we do like dots like this? There you go. Is there a way to change that color? Label color, outline color, and that TV is loud as fuck in the other room. Okay, there we go. Sci-fi city names, huh? Okay, so we're going to name the downport Moss Eisley. No. This is going to be Verinder Prime, and then the deep port is going to be Verinder Deep, since they're going to be above and below each other essentially. I like that. And then for the capital down in the southern continent, we're going to go with Archelaus. This is going to be human capital, or planetary capital. Center of southern continent. Mountain rivers and springs. close to down port, deep port, yet defensible. Not that we need to worry about it, hopefully. Nearby resources, we're going to have precious metals, because I've already put those on the map. Timber, furs. Got to remember, this planet is partially agrarian in the north. And then you're going to be modern industrial in the south. So I think we'll go with that. And then scientific in the northwest, and the forbidden reaches in the northeast. I think that's workable. I think that's a good eclectic mix for developing this. Let's take a look at, last session I didn't do any D20 questions, because random questions, because I was heavily into map editing. So I think this session we definitely want to make up for that. So let's jam out maybe some D20 questions tonight and see what the dice are gonna bless us with. Question number 6. What unseen forces have power here? What unseen forces, and we're back on our fantasy world, have power here? Okay, well, let's throw that map up because we're busy looking at the sci-fi map. So we're going to go with the merfolk and the Yuan-ti. Merfolk and Yuan-ti. Merfolk and Sahagin civilizations. Are virtually unknown. Yuan-ti civilizations are hidden. They're there, but they're going to be hidden. Think of it as almost like a shield type spell type thing. I think we can have some fun with that. So, looking at our fantasy world then, down here, pretty much the entire southeastern portion of my planet is going to be an unknown. I think that's going to be some fun. I think I can have some fun with that. Okay, that was question number 1. Got to strike it from the list so that I don't answer it again later. All right. 2 has already been answered. 19 is already answered. 8 has already been answered. Come on, I need different numbers tonight. 19 again. 10. Which landmark stands as a permanent reminder of a major event? Number 10. And strike it from the roster. I'm going to need some more D20 questions for a future episode. We're burning through these. I'll take breaks periodically from them, but as you can see, we've burned through about half of them already. Yeah, better than half. Which landmark stands as a permanent reminder of a major event? The desolation of the Yuan-ti continent serves as a reminder of the devastation from an aeons old war between men and gods. And also the destruction of the southern central continent that is sunk below the waves and now serves as the Merfolk and Sahagin civilization, because basically the sunken ruins are theirs. So I think that was kind of a fun way to do this. It gave me a lot of flexibility. It also gives me a lot of good ability for story writing. All right, number 10. Throw some dice. 20 is already... Nope. How important is technology to the daily lives of people in this world? It isn't. This is a fantasy setting. I mean, come on. It isn't. This is a fantasy setting with some scientific advancements, magic-powered airships, a very limited number of magic-powered airships, and the initial development of gunpowder. So we're going to allow our artificers to wield firearms. It's going to be the only class allowed to use it, and the materials to create it are going to be very rare and very expensive. So we're probably going to do something other than a typical gunpowder type mixture. We're probably going to make it something that requires some rare ingredients as well as some enchantment to make it work. And so I think that will add some excitement to player character development or choices. Okay. So those are my 3 that I'm answering for tonight for my fantasy world to kind of set the setting. That will be something that I think will be fun to play with. I'm going to throw some background music in here from Sirenscape while we're working. Let's take a look at our fantasy world. And I think Hexographer has frozen. Nope, there it goes. It's just angry. Things get angry. Gotta love technology. It's a pain in the ass when it doesn't want to work right. Especially if you're trying to stream it. Okay. D20 questions for fantasy worlds. Okay, let's have some fun with our sci-fi worlds. We want to do the same drill. I'm going to do some questions and answers. 11. Which historical events do people point to when trying to explain the world today? And that was number 11. Okay, let's just go ahead and roll and write afterwards. I can't roll 11 again, that doesn't help. Number 5. Number 5 has already been answered. 16. Okay, well first we need to strike through 11 because we're going to write it here in a minute. And then number 16. Let's get some writing going. Okay, and last but not least, 12. What fears are common in this world? Let's start with question number 11. What historical events do people point to in trying to explain the world today? The discovery of a kelp, which can be used for agricultural and medicinal purposes, has driven the most changes in our society. Are there new forms of perception and sensory experience? What new phenomena are people able to observe or understand? So new to this world, coming in from off-world, is cybernetic enhancements brought in from off-world have created an underground culture as well as that experiments inappropriately. We have a bunch of cyber junkies. What fears are common in this world? That outside factions will exploit the local citizens for financial gain while enslaving them through the use of technology and illegal pharmaceuticals. There we go. This is what the common man is afraid of. I think that's a good placeholder. We can use that. So I think those are a good set of questions for tonight. Let me go back and revisit. There's my kingdoms and capitals for my sci-fi world. It's going to be my capital as well as my down port. Wish I had, oh well, I've got those icons around my down port, so we're going to go with that. I really need to think about how or where the deep port is going to be located, because obviously it can't be located under the center of the island, although that would be interesting. It's not very practical, so we'll have to experiment with that. I'm thinking maybe place it here. So let's do that. Let's place, let's see, we used what, this icon? So let's use this icon here for the down port. I think that's a good place to put it. And go with that. So I do need to save these maps because I have made changes tonight. Made some changes to the mountain ranges. We've got some dwarven civilizations going up there. I think that's a good thing. Let's close that one out. And then I need to do something about this looking like the head of a Ninja Turtle crap. It's bugging me. So there might be another little bit of a map edit coming for my sci-fi world. So, rumor has it that this cauldron where this kelp is found is from a planet-devastating meteor impact millions of years ago. No, I'm not developing vibranium-enriched kelp. Although, we could steal that and enhance it and alter it in some way. I don't know. Food for thought. So, looking at the rest of my document for tonight, let's take a look at... Okay, so we have, in our fantasy world, we have the human dynasty in the northwestern continent with some elven and dwarven presence. Then we have the imperial human presence on the central continent, along with a dwarven and elven capital. Again, rich in metals and gems and timbers and furs. And then getting into the human tabaxi environment. Oops, what's going on here? We skipped a page because of the way my page break worked. So one of the things I'm going to do in my fantasy world, and I'm not going to write it in here yet because it's kind of still being developed in Brian's mind here. That's the reason we haven't put it pen to paper yet, but it's coming. I promise you it's coming. So let's pop back onto our fantasy map for a minute. Notice this here. This is going to be giant land. Not going to have very many giants, but you're going to have some frost giants here and some storm giants. I might throw some stone or hill giants into the larger mountain ranges here in the central imperial continent, but they're going to be few and far between if I do. And then over here, we are going to do something with some elves. You know, you've got your wood elves, you've got your high elves, you've got your dark elves. Why not have some snow elves, just to have something with a little variety in it? I think that will give us some great storytelling capability there. I'm not writing those in yet because I'm still kind of formulating them in my mind, but I did put the placeholders on the map for it. We'll tinker with it. There's gotta be some development, you know, going on in my head to flesh that out. So that kind of wraps up a lot of our kingdom and capital development for this evening. So if you like what we're doing here, hit that follow button. Make sure you have notifications turned on, so anytime I go live, you get a pop on your mobile device. Next session will be this coming Saturday, and I believe we will have a game. I believe my weekend adventurers will be joining us. We will be continuing the Tomb of Annihilation. I think they will be finally venturing out of the city of Port Nine Zaru. They need to get on with their quest. You know, I'm trying not to railroad them. I'm letting them have free agency, but they are being paid to locate and resolve the soulmonger that's preventing resurrections from working and causing those who have been resurrected to wither and die slowly, painfully. So I've got to kind of get them back on track. They went on their little pirate quest, and now they want to go on a bigger pirate quest. But I think they might get pulled up by their benefactor and reminded that they have a obligation to attend to. So we'll see how they react. And so that will be this Saturday. It's tentatively right now slated for 7:30 Central. However, I imagine we'll start earlier than that, so I will put out an announcement or change to my Twitch schedule, as well as on our website at huskyhouserpgs.com if you want to follow us there. Also on Facebook and YouTube if you prefer those platforms. But Twitch is kind of my home. That's where I've spent the most time getting things set up and trying to figure it out. So, but appreciate you tuning in tonight, and hope to see you again next time. Other than that, have a great evening and keep up with those fun adventures. Talk to you again soon.